Good evening, ladies and gents. Welcome to another video brought to you by Total Control Traders. Now in this week's weekly stock pick video, we're going to be discussing new picks for this week as well as review the picks from last week. Now in order for a stock or any stock to be picked, to be named, or even eligible to be named in our video, it needs to be in there's some criteria that needs to be met. First, it needs to be in a weekly, daily uptrend, bull trend, strong momentum, and no foreseeable short-term negative news. Then from there, we dive deeper into the chart and find those with higher chances for a bull move. And the result from doing all the due diligence above should present you with opportunities where even if you don't nail the bottom of the pullback, you should see green shortly after. So that's the opportunity that we present on our weekly stock pick videos. One other thing I wanted to mention is there will be a giveaway coming up as we get closer to 250 subs. Once we reach 250 subscribers, I will be happily giving you guys, not to be announced, but keep an eye out for it. Very excited for this. Now, as mentioned in last week's stock pick video, that it was not the most ideal time for starting a weekly stock pick video, but we will take a look at that as we review last week's video. All right, let's get into it. First one for this week is ARKK. ARK Innovations. Now, a lot of you may have heard of their ETF series. There's a whole bunch. There's ARKK, ARKF. Sorry, give me one sec. There we go. So there's ARKK, ARKF, ARKG, Q, W, and now the newest is X. With ARKK, what I'm looking at was this rising wedge, and if you saw Wednesday's video, I discussed an entry opportunity. So with that entry opportunity, we're looking at risk to reward, even if we were just revisiting the top of this downtrend, revisiting another third touch, we'd be looking at a 7-to-1 risk reward. We did get over that 88 today. We did get over that 0.5. So the way I'm seeing this, there is continued momentum that is going upwards. So first one, ARKK. Ultimately, ideal exit would be around here, which then the upper trend line, which will bring us to about 11 or 12 to 1 risk to reward. More than ideal. One of the best trades, best opportunities out there. ARKK. And with all the underlying assets, underlying holdings, PLTR, which is utilities. I believe it holds some path. There's quite a bit of holdings. The majority of it that I've looked at are moving as well, and that's why we decided to take this trade. All right, and the next one we're looking at is Amazon. So Amazon was last week's stock pick as well, but is one of those that it wasn't most ideal due to the market pullback we were seeing. And now that it has worked out exactly how we anticipated, near exactly how we anticipated. Now I'm seeing a lot of this. This is basically what happened to PLTR as well. It did not touch that most ideal revisit entry spot. But with this, because we didn't touch it, it's showing, to me, it's showing extra strength. And ultimately, it is a weekly bull flag. Yeah, it is a weekly bull flag holding that weekly 8. So from here, I would anticipate a bounce further up with an entry around where we are right now. Risk to reward I'm looking at is about 6-to-1. So Amazon, second pick, double wolf pattern. We're looking at breakdown, fake out, breakout, fake out, GP revisit. So this also matches that gap down, sell off before a gap fill and continuation pattern as well. What do we call that? Gap down, sell off pattern. Anyways, so Amazon is stock pick number 2. Next one is a little bit out of the norm. We don't usually pick junior stocks, penny stocks kind of thing. But I wanted to make sure that I bring this to your attention. ACT on the Canadian side. So this is a, what is it called? A Duro Clean technology. With this, we saw a nice, very nice base around that 80 cents area, and then I saw a slight breakdown, no follow through, huge buying pressure, increasing bull volume. Now in this consolidation, we did hold that 88, so this is a daily bull flag, and we saw very minimal bear pressure coming in, very little bear volume. The stock is looking great. Since we last discussed it, entry of around here, the risk to reward is looking at roughly about 3 to 1, not as ideal as the other two, and that's why this is place number 3. Now these risk rewards are all minimum. From what I'm expecting on this move, we might see a rejection around here, but if we do break over, 1-to-1 extension target would bring us much higher. Let's take a look at where that is. Can't even see it. So let's say GP. There we go. All right, so if we're looking at GP, we're looking at risk reward about 5 to 1. Great opportunity on ACT. So this is a second or a third pick. And the fourth, funny enough, it also starts with the letter A. So today, this week's weekly stock pick video consists of 4 stocks. All 4 stocks are starting with the letter A. Apple, this may take a little bit more downside before it reverses. What I'm looking at here is essentially, even though there's decent bear volume showing up here, and it is post-event, so we could be marking the top. But keep in mind, Apple, if we're looking at a back test, with this breakout, immediate back test, another move up, we should be looking at a bounce around 150. So that is the 4th and last pick of this week. Now let's review what we picked from last week. Actually, before doing so 145 is the entry that I'm looking at for Apple. All right, so let's review last week. First one is Airbnb. How do we do since we discussed it? It's interesting because we did see a gap down immediately on Monday, but the dip was bought hard. So even if you watched the weekend video, you bought the open on Monday, you should have ended, considering that if you sold at the end of day, you should have ended the trade with at least 4%. So with this, if you got a better entry, better exit, maximum you're looking at for this is 9.8%. What an amazing trade. Now with Airbnb going forward into next week, I will not be looking at it as a top pick, and that's why it's not named. Or else it'd be 5 A's. But part of the reason for that is there is a huge, strong daily bear divergence that has formed now. Now with this, especially towards the end of day sell-off, if we take a closer look at this, dip was bought again, but there is selling pressure that's coming in. So with that in mind, I would expect this to go a little bit lower. Potentially over here. We'll just call that for now. We're going to try to keep the video short, so I'm not going to go into too much of a forecast and deep dive. All right, next is DKNG. Was the other pick from last week. Now this one's a little bit different. I did mention that we are looking at a daily higher low coming up, and that's why the forecast was like this. But with this, now the opportunity is amazing because it is another weekly bull flag, and similar idea. We did not get to exactly where we're looking at for an ideal entry, showing me potential bulls are still strong on DKNG. We didn't even get to the 0.5. So essentially, did we hold the 0.382? We lost it slightly, but it was immediately bought up. So DKNG is going to be remaining on one of the higher watches this next week. But what I want to see first is coming Monday, Tuesday, I want to see trading over that daily 8 and a close over it. Now, if we're to make a new high and we see a rejection at this top of the key zone, we will be forming a daily bear divergence as well. But DKNG opportunity still exists, and Amazon already discussed, so opportunity is there. I am in the trade. Next is Visa. Visa, we did see a slight loss of that key trend line that we were looking at, where we saw 5 rejections before. I know you're thinking you only see 4, but there we go. Okay, computer is lagging a little bit. So 5 rejections from before, and as well as a support from after breaking out. So we were looking at a potential support here, but we did lose it ever so slightly. So Monday, if the dip gets bought, that is a very nice sign for the bulls. What we want to see is a close over the daily 8 first. Essentially, this is now in a daily downtrend. So that's the reason why it was only number 4 pick from last week. And opportunity is still there. Opportunity is still fairly great, I would say. We did lose the 0.5 as well, so it's not as ideal anymore. Considering the daily, we're gonna need to see a reversal relatively soon in order to confirm that daily bull divergence on Visa. Next is PLTR. So if you did enter this trade, you would be down. Is this Monday? No, this is Monday. About 3%. Next is PLTR. What an amazing bull move. So we did discuss this last week as one of the top watches. It could slowly grind, but we were looking at an addition to our position right around this GP upper trend line. So very similar idea. We did not get to that ideal entry. We got close to it, relative bull, and we saw huge bulls coming in. From there, if you did enter from the open of Monday, you should be up 9.8%. With this, now I'm more so looking to sell. My sell right now is lining up with the 1.1 extension as well as the 0.5 from the retracement of this retracement. The whole move retracement lines up with the 1-to-1 extension target at 31. Alright, so that's it for this week's stock pick video. Hope you guys enjoy the content. Make sure to hit that like, subscribe. Let me know what stocks you are watching. Share a comment, share our channel. I will see you in our next week's video.